there's quite a few customers that I've got who've come in from a different practice and have told me that they just did not want to serve me. Like, who opens a shop in the morning and thinks, okay, I'm going to be grumpy and not serve people? I find.
Okay, hello everyone, and thank you for tuning in again to the second episode of the Optics Room. Today we are honored to have Imranali Khaki with us. He's a successful entrepreneur in the independent optical field, having worked both as a franchise at a franchise in his early years to now thriving as an independent owner. We'll be talking more about his journey and how he finds being an independent owner very different to working in a franchise and the different types of challenges you come across. So, Imranali, please give us an introduction to yourself.
Hi everyone, thank you for having me, Hasnain. We've had numerous conversations, but it's good to finally have a proper conversation about the journey. My name is Imranali Khaki. I've been in the optics industry for, say, around 9 years now, although I don't look it, but I own my own independent practice in London. I've owned it for coming up to 7 years. And as Hasnain said before that, I was working at none other than Vision Express. So, yeah.
Oh, the one and only. So, Imranali, tell us, how did you start off your journey into optics? Because if I recall correctly, your degree was in business
Yeah,
management or something like
yeah.
that.
So optics was never in the picture when I started university. So yeah, I studied business management at King's. Did the 3 years there. But it was one thing that was a common occurrence for everyone that studied business management. They would go into banking or accounting, and that was not for me. I really wanted to do my own thing. So I never really had a set thing to do after I graduate. So once I graduated, I worked in a few different things, invested in a few different things. Some worked, some didn't work. But it was, yeah, always wanted to do my own thing. And then ended up marrying into a family full of opticians, optometrists. So I guess the writing was on the wall for me
Inspiration.
then.
Inspiration was there.
Yeah.
Um, so okay, fine. So you came into optics that way, and as in your early years, you started off in a franchise. So then jumping to an independent and having your own practice is very different to that.
Mm.
Why did you choose having a independent over pursuing a franchise?
So the ultimate goal was always to own independent practice. The aim was to go into working for Vision Express just so that I could learn the ropes because I didn't have any optical knowledge, optical background, and I think that my motivation was there to learn everything and to grow as quickly as I could, just so I could get as much exposure and much experience as possible. So yeah, I spent 2 years at Vision Express, going from optical assistant to manager at one of the stores, and yeah, and then we got meanwhile. My wife, she was going through university and graduating, and then we got a good opportunity to take up an independent practice. But yeah, the jump is very significant. It,
It is a significant jump. Also, because you don't have a franchise, you don't have that advertising machine behind
yeah,
you. You don't have a whole system of IT people and accounts and regional managers and whatnot. Everything is on your shoulders and your shoulders
hmm
only. So, how did you find taking that risk on yourself?
it's interesting. You say risk. It was. I remember. It was always an exciting journey. We'd go and see different practices to see which one would be good for us, which one would be good, which wouldn't. Go into negotiations. Some didn't turn out as well as we'd like. Then finally, we came across this one, and it was all hunky dory and very exciting until literally a week or 2 weeks before exchange, and I'm thinking, oh, this what have I done here? This is like a lot of money that we're investing. All of a sudden, I don't have a manager on top of me to tell me do this, do that, and I have to do everything on my own back. So yeah, it's a risk, but yeah, like high risk, high reward, I guess, right?
exactly. So I'm sure by now you smoothed over those challenges and you can do it with your eyes closed. But in the beginning, what are the main challenges you came across?
So initially, it's the biggest challenge is it's mindset. I feel um, going from working for a high street multiple to working for an independent, it's very different ways of working. And also remember this practice, you're not starting from scratch. So the employees that you inherit, the ways of working that you inherit are so different. I remember at these high street practice all about targets and all about KPIs and all of that, and you'd have your spreadsheets. And I was thinking, okay, the first thing I'll do is introduce a spreadsheet here and do stuff. But these kind of things don't work initially. You have to just go with the flow, so to speak, with independence. Identify what's working, what's not. So yeah, that was my main challenge, making sure that I'm not um, generalizing what I used to know in and out at the high street practice, and trying to implement that here because yeah, some of the ideas fell flat really quickly.
Yeah, I guess when you work in a place for so long, you think that that's the only way to do it, and then you try and implement it somewhere else, and it doesn't work, and it can
Mm,
backfire. And with an independent, your staff are so few, and you have to have a very good relationship with them, I guess. So it's a two-way
yeah.
street. Can't make too many changes too
Yes,
quickly.
that's huge.
But
That's huge. You cannot make too many changes too quickly because two things. One is staff get disillusioned. They feel okay, this guy, especially at my age, I was 25 when I took over, and the staff members were like in their 40s. And they're
yeah,
thinking this guy half my age, all of a sudden he's my boss. I have to listen to him. So I had to tread very, very carefully,
yeah,
and I knew that going in. So yeah, you just have to make sure that you're not making wholesale changes, listening to them, making them feel important. That's huge. But also you have to look at it from the customer's point of view. All of a sudden, if you make so many changes, then all of a sudden they'll think, okay, what's happening here? Something's not right. I've been coming to this practice for 20 odd years and I've been seeing the same people. What's happening here? So you have to just take your time with making changes. And the other thing is also not
yeah,
making
yeah.
changes for the sake of making changes. If something's working, it's working. Let it go.
Don't break it. I guess with an independent, the customer loyalty is the most important thing the asset that you have, because your customers are so few compared to a franchise. You have to keep your customers
Hmm.
happy. Did you ever find it difficult to bring new customers in?
I think that's always going to be the battle. Like you said, you don't have this advertising machine that high street chains have. So you have your main advertising thing is word of mouth, right? Your current customers that you have, and you try and encourage them to bring their families over and their friends and all of that over. So it's always a tough task to get new clients. But one thing I feel that worked well was you have to remember that these clients, you can't take anyone for granted, whether they're spending £1 or getting a NHS eye test, or they're spending thousands of pounds. Like you have to treat them, everyone, like a person, and ultimately, people buy people. And if they're happy with you, you never know who's going to recommend when. That's the key thing. You have to constantly remind yourself. Like even if someone just has an NHS eye test, um, he's not paying anything, but he's so impressed by your services, he's going to go and talk, right? And then the person that comes as a result of that, they're going to spend. So never take things for granted. That's one thing that I don't know if it was just a culture or if it just happened, but because of the target based element of high street chains, we felt okay. Someone NHS, I'll run away far. You constantly have those battles as always, right? Okay, I
Yeah,
know this
yeah,
guy's
yeah,
going to
yeah.
spend, so I'll stay close to the test room so that I can get the handover. And if there's an
I
NHS
get that
kid,
dispense.
then
It comes on
everyone's running a
my
mile away from it.
KPIs.
So no, it's very different independent.
What's the most interesting word of mouth patient you've had, national or international?
Good question. Interesting word of mouth patient. So
Or any patient that's heard of you without you directly messaging them.
yeah, so we've had quite a few. Thankfully, we've had quite a few. And there was this person that came from Dubai, if I'm not mistaken, and he said that my relative comes to you, and I've come to town. I need some glass, and my relative said, make sure when you come to town, you come to see these guys. So he came all the way from Dubai. He could have easily got his eyes tested in Dubai, but he came. He came to us for his eye test and got glasses. So there, I think the key is to know who is being recommended and thanking them as well, so
Yeah,
that you know where they're coming from.
I think you should open one up in Dubai then. What other challenges have you come across? It can't be easy running a business by yourself. Sometimes you might have to go in 6, 7 days a week. You might not do that now, but in the beginning, how was that?
Yeah, it's definitely you can't go in thinking that you're your own boss, so like you work minimal hours and that's that. Like you said, right? All of a sudden, marketing's on you, accounting is on you, dispensing is on you. If you're an optom, testing is on you. Then ordering is on you. Refunds and credit returns and all of that, that's all on you, right? So no, definitely you have to go in with that mindset, knowing fully well that it's gonna be tough initially, but you have to play the long game. You always have to play the long game. You can't always be in it for the short wins. So just have that long objectives in mind, and that will push you through for the first year or two.
Now, I've seen you ramp up your digital marketing a lot the last few years. You see in focus in a lot of places on social media. Talk to me about your journey and how you started off into digital social media with InFocus, because I feel that a lot of independent owners could benefit from that. And sometimes owners who are been in their practice for 10, 15, 20 years, as many independent owners are, they sometimes can lose touch and forget about what's currently happening.
Let me tell you off the bat, having a digital footprint in this day and age is a no-brainer. You have to have it, regardless of what age you are, how long you've been in business, um, whatever your background is. Website and social media footprint is a must. So when we took over, there was a very basic website, and I thought, okay, this is not going to cut it. So the first step was to start working on a website, and took a lot of time, spoke to a lot of people, spent a lot of money hiring people, and going through uh, digital marketing agencies and stuff like that. And finally got a decent-ish website out of it. But then literally overnight, from when we go live, literally overnight, you see people hearing about you that you'd never have thought would come to you.
People outside the
Outside
community.
the community, outside the area. I remember this guy came all the way from Portsmouth because he saw an ad of ours. He took it. I don't know for the life of me why he came all the way to Portsmouth just for here. Because I'm sure the product that he was after, I'm sure there are opticians in Portsmouth that would sell him. But that's the power of digital marketing. Being up there, top of the page on Google, having a good responsive website, responding quickly, made him come all the way from Portsmouth just to have a look at the frames. And then I didn't have a clinic on that day, so I thought he liked the frame. He I think he paid for the frame, and then we booked him in for the next day or the 2 days after, when I had a clinic. So he went back because he had to,
And he came
and he
back
came back
from
for the
Portsmouth again.
appointment and dispensed as well. So like,
That's amazing, the power of
yeah,
social
it
media.
is like not everyone would do that. Not everyone's very like
Of course.
goes all the way, but it
But
gives you
if that happens for someone who doesn't even live in your city, imagine people who are within your
yeah.
vicinity.
So now, so what I was trying to say is that, let's say you have a 2 mile radius of your customer base. What having a digital footprint makes you open up, right? A lot more. All of some people from around the UK are seeing, from around the world are seeing you as well. I once had this guy. Again, I don't know why my ad got served somewhere in Dubai, but I think it was probably to do with him similar keyword searches or whatever it is. But yeah, he came in from Dubai. He emailed from Dubai saying, "Look, I've seen this ad. I'm coming to the UK anyways. I want this particular frame. Can it be done in time for me to come?" And we said, "Yeah," and we got it
Wow.
done. So yeah, the power of social media and website.
So so what advice would you give a 45-year-old or 50-year-old practice owner who has no experience in social media? How do they get started?
You don't have to do it
What's the
yourself.
easiest and most
Yeah, you
simplest
don't
way?
have to do it
Yeah.
yourself. Don't if you can't get your head around it, don't even try. Just look out for good agencies or good people around in your network who've done things before. Or if you want to have a chat with me, by all means, have a chat with me, and we can point you in the right direction. And yes, I think the biggest stumbling block is that we we've never invested so much money in marketing before, and then all of a sudden we're investing in something that pops up on Google or on Facebook, and then yeah, it doesn't make sense to some people, but as in you have to do that now, and it's a long game. You're not going to get results overnight. It is a long game. So yeah, be prepared for those two things. Invest more money and
How how long was it until you started seeing your returns on marketing? A year, two
I
years?
would say between 4 to 6 months. Yeah,
Okay. That's not
months
too bad
before
then.
you sort of break even. You see,
Fine.
so the minute you turn on a Google campaign, you're gonna get traction naturally. But before you see serious results, yeah, at least 6 months.
Do you feel that practices will be left behind if they don't keep up with what's happening
Hundred
around them?
percent, 100%. You in this day and age, you can't not be on the digital sphere, um, because remember, especially with the online retailers, they're being the way they are, they're sharks, right? They're there everywhere for every opportunity, and unfortunately, for you are going to get sometimes where people click on your ad, come in, try out the frame, and then they say it's cheaper online. It's annoying, but I feel it's part and parcel of the thing. You're not going to win everyone, but don't let that be a stumbling
Would
block for you.
would you price match or would you do that on a case by case
I
basis?
would I would try not to price match. I would do it on a case by case basis, but 80-90% of the time I wouldn't price match.
I guess it devalues your brand as
Yeah.
well if you do as well, isn't it? So look, optics is in itself is a saturated market as it is. You have high street chains opening up left, right, and center. How do you stand out from all of them where they can afford to give promotions night and day? They finish a 3 month promotion, they start another one. How do you stand out? What traits do you need to
Yeah,
have?
so there are two or three key things here. One is product. Try and find niches in your product in the sense that I try not to stock the same product that's available in Vision Express, other than um, one or two brands that have really done well for me and continue to do well for me. I try and make sure I go out of my way to make sure that I do not stock product that's available in high streets. The second thing is niching in service. You have to find different ways of of getting an advantage. So eye tests, everyone does eye tests, but then what are the different kinds of eye tests that you can do that high streets wouldn't necessarily focus on? So niching on that. And thirdly, is it's all about people based, creating that ambience or that atmosphere in your shop that people like coming to. I hear a lot of stories about independents, people who've been in the game for a long time, but now they're tired of it, so they're not motivated, and they feel that customers are coming to do them uh, a service or to do them a favor. But and the there's there's quite a few patients customers that I've got who've come in from a different practice, and have told me that I, they just did not want to serve me. Like, who opens a shop in the morning and thinks, okay, I'm going to be grumpy and not serve people? I find it baffling. So
Uh,
yeah, just greet people with a
okay.
smile and just be look after people.
Be Imranali.
Look
Be
after
Imranali.
people.
Now, as an owner for the last 9 years, 9 years or 7 years,
7 years
was it?
old. 7.
You must have gone through so many ups and downs. You must have learned so many things along the way. If you had to go back, what would you have done differently?
If I were to go back, what would I have done differently? I would have the first thing was not I'd made a few mistakes coming straight from uh, the high street to independent, trying to apply what I've learned in the high street and apply it in independent. I think that I wouldn't do. I would have taken my time a bit more just to try and understand this particular business and see what's making it tick, and then use what I've learned and tweak it so that it's more independent, if you can call it that. That's
Yeah, yeah.
one thing. The second thing is I would have tried to again play the long game. So there was some decisions where I made very quickly just because I saw it working in the high street. So for example, particular brands or particular ways of work. Yeah, so those kind of things. Just biding your time. That's the key thing. Be patient. Being patient.
Good. I guess a very key part of your practice is your
Yeah.
staff. And when you're interviewing for roles such as an optometrist role, it's very different to interviewing someone for an optometrist to work in a high
Yeah.
street practice. What kind of things do you look for in an
Mm.
optom when you're looking to hire
Key
someone?
thing is personality. Because nowadays I think you can every optum that comes out, it's safe to say every optum that comes out clinically they are sound, because you guys have to go through so many things, right? Your different stages and all of your OSCEs and all of that. But that's not what's going to win people. That's not what's going to make your conversions high. That's not what's going to make you a lot more profitable. Your personality is going to people buy people. That's my key thing. So when I have an interview with an optom, I'm not going to test them on their optical knowledge. I'm just going to have a chat with them and see how they come across, and then ask them a few scenario questions. Depending on how the conversation goes, and just gauge it from there. That's the key thing that I'm looking for. How personable are you? Will you go out of your way to look after someone? Because I know I would, and that's what we stand for.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And I guess everyone you employ needs to have your ethos and your vision
that's
because you need
that's
to be able to
key.
trust them once
Never
they're there.
never employ someone out of desperation. You'd rather not have that person than have that person and destroy everything that you work for. Remember, it takes years to build what you have, but an instant uh, to destroy it.
To
So
lose it.
yeah, don't hire out of desperation. You lose money and you lose traction.
Mm, good, very good advice. Very good advice. Now we've talked a lot about the challenges, and I hope I didn't seem too negative coming across to an independent. But tell me some of the benefits. What do you enjoy?
I enjoy quite a few things about being my own boss.
Yeah,
Well, initially, of course, you have to work hard. Everyone has to work hard. There's
of
there's
course,
no
of course.
this whole dream of being your own boss and doing whatever you want. It's not true. But the good thing is that you choose how you work. You're not um, you're you're not answerable to anyone, so you can do what you feel is right. Um, I think that's key. That's huge. Like you have a dream, you have a particular thing that you want to achieve, a particular niche that you want to go into. You can go into it without going through all the red tape and everything that there is, right? I enjoy that. I enjoy the flexibility, um, and also just being happy around at work. I feel there are a couple of stores that I worked with, and I've put a couple people I've spoken to, and it's just so miserable because either they have a manager that's just onto them, or there's so much work to do and stuff. So I try and keep a very happy, I wouldn't say laid back kind of thing, but like I feel a happy stuff gives you much more
Yeah.
return than being onto them. But yeah, work life balance is huge for me, as you know. And I try to keep it.
But as you said, it wasn't there in the beginning, was it? I guess in the beginning you had to work twice
Yeah,
as
we
hard
had to. So
to get
so
to where you are
my
now.
wife's an optom, we both go to work together. We come back late. We try to be disciplined as much as possible at home, not to talk about work, because naturally you talk about work the whole time. It's tough.
Wife work, in-laws work,
It's
everything,
tough,
optics.
but yeah, you have to be disciplined. But once the key thing is that you're working towards your goal, not towards someone else's goal. So if your goal is
Exactly.
work-life balance, you'll make that happen. If your goal is to achieve X amount of growth, you'll make that happen. If your goal is to have X amount of stores, you'll make that happen. That's the key thing.
I mean, it's all
Yeah.
in your hands, isn't it? People say that when you're working, you should be trying to serve something or someone. Have you heard of that ethos? Do you stand by it?
Serving people.
Serving, so serving anyone through what you do. So whether it's serving your customers' needs, not from a financial point of view, but from to help them be happy with their look. To because when they're buying glasses, they don't buy the glass; they buy their look. They buy fashion. You help them feel comfortable. Or do you work towards serving your staff to make sure that they're happy with what they do on a daily basis? Or do you work to serve your family? So if you're working through serving something or someone, have you found that that benefits you with your mindset and your outcome at the end of the day? Where if money isn't your primary concern, a very important one, but if money is here and serving is here as well, do you find that serving enables the money to come?
I think serving makes you feel a lot more content with what you have, and
Okay.
with your day's work, so to speak. You know, there's some days that you feel you've flogged, you struggle so hard, and you don't get that contentment. But the fact that you know that you've made someone's life better, or you've made someone smile, or you've enabled someone to see better, um, is so much more satisfying. And you're right. There's so many stakeholders in our lives, so many stakeholders in our company, that you need to look out for everyone. You have to. And in this day and age, I think gone are the days where you're just there to sell, to give someone an eye test and make them wear glasses or contact lenses. You have to make an impact on that person, and that's what's going to help you keep those people from going internet. Remember, internet is a huge devil for us nowadays, right? And the only way we'll be able to make sure that we survive and we thrive is through personality and the personal touch. So you have to go over and
Yeah.
above, you have to make them smile, you have to have conversations, get personal with them in the sense that family basis. So everyone that we talk to, everyone that comes in, will ask them, "How are you? Tea, coffee? How's your weekend? Family? This, that," and then use different tangents to go into different things. So yeah, definitely.
No, I know, and I can see that through the way you work. I've been in your practice a couple of times, and I can see how personal it is on a first name basis, and you really know what's happening in that person's day, and it makes them feel
Thank
special and
you.
important as well.
That's key.
That they're not just there as a, they're not just a transaction; they're a
Mm.
human as well at the end of the day, and that's where your success lies. So, to end with, what advice would you give to current or aspiring independent practice owners?
So my advice,
You can separate it if you want.
yeah. So current independent owners, I feel. it would be try and get a good. Um, I guess it all depends on how you're approaching it. So my approach is always towards work-life balance, making money work for you rather than you work for money. So thankfully we're in a good industry, we're in a good company, good location, so thankfully we have things right in that sense. But then it could you could easily fall in the trap. Oh, okay, I've done this, I'm getting more out of it, let me try and go for it more and more and more, and then I'll get a lot more out of it. I'm content with having good income. I know if I spend 2-3 hours more a day staying till 9 p.m. at night, for example, I'll get a lot more. But I see more value at home, going home to my wife and kids, and spending time with the family. And ultimately, for me, my company work is so that I can have a good family life and go on holidays and stuff. Um,
And I guess to add on to that is to keep up with the times as
yes,
well and not get too
Yes,
comfortable.
that is key as well. So just making sure that you're innovating and you're coming to work with fresh energy every single day. Things can get mundane and routine all the time, especially if you're optoms. You're stuck in the four walls, doing the same thing, and then you come out, you
Yeah.
have to do all your admin stuff. Things can get very mundane and routine. Make sure you're breaking your day up. Make sure you're coming to work full of energy, and try and find a project or two that you can work on that really excites you. So, for example, as you know, we test cricketers' eyes, uh, but
Yes, I've seen
that
that.
only came about because I love my cricket, and like I just went for it. It doesn't add value to me financially because we give them ridiculous amounts of money off and do the eye test for free and stuff. But as long as I'm not losing money, and it just I go in when I see the diary for the next day, and I see cricketers coming in for the eye test. I'm the happiest guy on earth, man.
It excites you,
Yeah,
innit? You're there at 6
and
a.m.
and I know that I'm going to go to Lord's sometime soon to go and watch a cricket match or two. I'm the happiest guy on earth. So work on these kind of projects. Identify what you're interested in, what your passion is, and just do it. You're the boss, so you just can do what you want.
Good. What about people who want to become an independent owner? Is the market too saturated? Is it worth it now?
I think you have to tread carefully in the sense that you have to get the right place that not only location wise, but the right place that works for you. I know of a few people that have a practice that's probably an hour and a half, 2 hours away from home. And okay, initially the first year, yes, it's an exciting new project, but then think of it long term. Anything that you do, just think of it long term, and don't go in it for the quick buck, please. Whatever you do,